I'm investigating why new and used car prices are so high right now and how criminals have been cashing in on the soaring prices. If you are fortunate enough to be able to afford to buy a used car right now, then fantastic. But we have discovered that you need to be very careful about what you buy and where it has come from. That pristine-looking motor could have been in a serious accident and might cost you more than you bargained for. This is the way it works. My car might be worth £20,000, but then I have a crash and the damage is so bad that it's not worth repairing. But somebody buys my car, repairs it and puts it up for sale again. As it's been in a serious accident, it should be declared as such and will be worth thousands of pounds less than it was before. Unless the advert says it's never been in an accident in the first place. Worse still, if the repair job has been shoddy, the car could be a death trap. Selling previously written-off cars in this way is becoming more common because prices in the used car market have gone up so much. Meet David. Last year he bought this Mini. He was delighted with his new little motor.
The original advert for the vehicle we purchased, lovely looking car, pretty much what we were looking for.
But 8 months later, when David and his wife tried to part exchange the Mini for an electric car, they encountered a problem. The Mini had previously been in an accident so serious that it had been written off.
On viewing the images, I was absolutely horrified. We've got damage to the sill, curtain airbags, dashboard airbags, all gone off. Completely ripped off the offside front wheel. It would indicate a real hefty impact. Shocking. Shocking. Not only was the car an insurance write-off, it looked to me to be in a condition beyond repair. But more than that, the fact that I put my wife in that car to drive around in for 8 months, I just struggled to understand how that can happen. I kind of felt I'd let her down because it was my responsibility to ensure that vehicle was safe.
Before David bought his Mini, a search of its history was carried out and no issues were found. But when he tried to sell the car onto a dealer, they carried out a more extensive background check that revealed the Mini had been in a crash and had been completely written off. Additional checks like this are not compulsory. With the help of a claims specialist, he eventually persuaded the seller to take the car back and refund his money. But then David got another nasty shock.
So once the vehicle was returned to the vendor, it then appeared online again for sale, and it was clear it was the same vehicle and it was up for the same price.
If someone knowingly tries to sell a car like this without declaring it has been a write-off, that's illegal.
It frustrates me and it worries me. How many other vehicles are our loved ones driving around in that aren't fit to be on the road?
I've come to meet the man who helped David get his money back. Ian Ferguson is a vehicle claims specialist who's got hundreds of cases on his books. Victims who have bought written-off cars unwittingly.
What I'm seeing is, in the cases I deal with, the provenance checks through the process of the buying are not happening, which means that more and more of these uncategorised write-offs are finding their way through from auction sites, and then they find their way into an online used car seller.
Why do you feel that at the moment you're seeing an increase in those numbers? What's causing it to spike?
There's such a demand for used cars that people are becoming less choosy. They're more happy to buy a car rather than worry about the provenance. And as those prices are driven up, it means that there's more money to be made on these written off and salvaged cars.
Ian estimates that around 40,000 undeclared write-offs are sold like this each year, and those sales could be worth around £800 million.
We went from that
To that.
This is big business, isn't it?
It's a lot of money to be made. There's more sinister undertones with these cars as well, insofar as where you have cars with airbags that have gone off, and instead of replacing the airbag, which would have been many, many thousands of pounds, the airbag's simply been cut away, the system's been reset, the car's been repaired, painted and put it back out into the retail food chain. That could have fatal consequences if somebody was in an accident. There's no airbag there.
The hundreds of checks carried out by big dealers should pick up any safety problems like this. But shouldn't consumers still know the full history of the car before they buy it? Dispatches has seen evidence provided by an enhanced checking database called VCheck that some of the biggest names in the business are advertising as pristine cars that have been in serious accidents. We found one of these cars at Car Giant.
The massive Car Giant showroom has thousands of cars, all in one place. That's worth knowing.
In compelling, well-produced ads like this, they describe how convenient it is to buy a car from them. On sale at Car Giant was this Skoda Karoq. In 2020, it suffered such serious structural damage in a crash that it was written off. But here it is looking spick and span in an online advert 2 years later at Car Giant.
So, come to Car Giant.
In their persuasive, slick adverts, they describe themselves as the largest car dealership in the world and the UK's leading car supermarket. We decided to pay them a visit, filming undercover to take a closer look at the car and see what they would say about its history.
I was just wondering who I could speak to about a viewing of a car. I haven't booked it in. It's a Skoda Karoq and I've got the registration number just here. HY69, and then I believe it's 0EF. Oh, EF, that's it. Has it been any...
We don't sell those salvage cars any categories.
Any categories?
Neither do finance, neither leases, neither outstanding, anything.
Anything like that?
We indemnify cars. On our side of it, every car that has to go to the checks first.
Okay. Because what are the checks? Because I don't know how it works.
It has to go through all the multiple inspections, which include almost 140, 169 checks.
Right.
Because we normally use multi-points. So all checks need to be done. Once that being passed, only then car is available for customers to buy.
Okay.
Written off cars are given a letter category. This Skoda was given a category S, meaning it had structural damage.
So I know that there are different categories of structural damage, aren't there? So if it's not had any of that, it means it's not ever been in an accident or ever been written off, anything like that.
It's all written on the sales order that the car handling responsibility, he take responsibility for that. And it's written on the sales order. So purchase a car, it's written down there. Take responsibility for that.
Okay, well that's good to know. Thanks for your help.
Car Giant said, all our cars are checked against the industry standard vehicle history database and undergo rigorous inspections to ensure each car is roadworthy and safe. In this case, Car Giant paid full market price for the vehicle from one of the world's largest vehicle remarketers. The vehicle passed both theirs and Car Giant's physical inspection and industry standard database checks. Once Car Giant learnt that the insurer failed to declare the car's write-off status, it immediately withdrew the vehicle from sale. Car Giant now checks all their retail stock with VCheck and found this to be the only incident of an undeclared write-off. Car Giant continues to provide full guaranteed assurance on all our cars that if third-party data relied on is inaccurate, customers will be fully reimbursed and never out of pocket. At least with a traditional dealer like Car Giant, it's possible to go onto the forecourt and just really give the car the once-over. But the world of car dealing is changing.
All our cars pass a 300-point inspection and are carefully reconditioned.
In effective, polished adverts like these, Kazoo claims to have customer satisfaction at its heart.
And every car comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee.
Kazoo is one of a new breed of online-only car supermarkets. It keeps costs down and it should be easier for everyone, especially as they claim to make extensive checks on every car they sell. But we've heard they are selling cars with hidden histories. Cars that we found on the website that quite clearly shouldn't be when you dig into their history. So we've got one here, a BMW, but if I look over here, this is a salvage report from when the car passed through the salvage auction, and there's quite clearly been some major damage to it, including the airbags which have been deployed. So it's got a hidden history that just isn't clear at all for whoever is in the process of buying that car. So while I'm on hold, I'm just going to have a quick look at what that 300-point check entails. It's very thorough, looks at everything from body exterior, brake systems to the car data. So let's take a look at that. And here, point 15 in the car data, clear as day. Check the car's history report.
Feel free to proceed. Can I start by taking your name?
It's Ginny Buckley.
Hi, Ginny. How can I help you today?
Oh yeah, hi. I'm just inquiring about a car that you've got for sale on the website. I just had a few questions about it. I just wanted to check, does it have the logbook with the car?
So yeah, the vehicle will come with its logbook. It's not something we have information on here. Just to let you know, the vehicle is actually being purchased at the moment.
Okay.
Have you got any more questions about the vehicle? You've got me on the phone.
Has the car been involved in any accidents in its history?
We don't sell any vehicles that have been involved in accidents. If you were to run a 3-second line, you'll be able to see that none of our vehicles have ever been in any accidents.
Okay, bye.
Right.
Clear as day. There is no way that it's been involved in an accident. They don't sell vehicles that have been involved in accidents. And yet I can see that somebody is actually going through the process of buying this car. And if I flick through to the salvage report on it, it has quite clearly been involved in a pretty serious accident. The airbags have deployed. There's a really nasty crash to the front driver's side. There's no way I would want to buy that car and put myself, or more importantly, my family or my friends into it without knowing fully its history. Kazoo said, "The example presented is highly unusual and not at all representative of the general Kazoo experience, given it is based on just one car out of over 80,000 that we have sold. We place safety and quality above all else. All of our cars undergo thorough quality checks, including searches for any previous accident or damage history. In a rare example like this, damage which is not reported to an insurance company may not show up in industry standard searches, which is an industry-wide challenge, although we would of course refund the customer in full and take the car back. We have now undertaken a full review of our processes to ensure that we are better able to identify these issues in the future." Without one single database, it's very difficult for us as car buyers to check a car's history. We have to trust the seller. Dispatchers asked the Department for Transport why it has not been made a legal requirement for a vehicle's history to be published on a single database that is readily accessible to everyone. The department said that the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency publish MOT results on a single database to aid drivers in making good choices about vehicle purchases. They said the government also publishes step-by-step guidance on its website to aid drivers in choosing a vehicle.